been here for 2 years now as your superintendent. We've been able to work together, collaborate together. We've established an instructional vision. We've established priorities in mathematics, in English language arts, teacher clarity. I've seen how the staff and teachers pour out their heart and soul, giving their best to our students. I've even been in each school and I've seen measurable progress across the board. All schools are showing progress. But as your superintendent, as I think about all students achieving great success, I have to ask myself the question, we have to ask ourselves the question, is the progress that we're seeing enough? And if the students are the reason why we're doing the things that we're doing in the first place, if we really let that sit in, we have to ask ourselves some tough questions about our system. Are we doing enough? Are we seeing enough progress? Is it time to do something drastically different? Is it time for us to change?
In our Othello School District, we offer preschool currently to 120 students, and we have partnered with the ESD, and they have an ECAP program that services 77 students. Our ultimate goal is to provide all-day, year-round preschool to all preschool-age children in the Othello community. Currently, because of space and funding, we had to cap it at 120 students, and so we give the students an assessment, and based on those assessment scores, we enroll as many children as possible. Next year, we would like to add a couple classrooms, and then that will increase our enrollment possibly to 120 or 150. We also have a program that we started this year called Learn Academy, where we're working with 30 families in each of our cohorts. They come for 7 nights, and they're learning early literacy skills, early math skills, about brain development, different screeners they can give if they have concerns about their children, behavior and discipline. And most importantly, we're just building a partnership with those families, connecting them with resources in our community, so that they can advocate for their children, so they can be a voice for their children, and that they have a connection that if they have questions or concerns, there's somebody in the community at the school district that they can come and get the support that they need. In our preschool this year, we have made a shift instead of so much paper pencil to be more play-based. So students are learning really important skills by having to play with each other and sharing with each other and exploring and experimenting, and still at the same time learning those early kinder readiness skills like their letters and their sounds and their numbers and the skills just necessary to get ready for kindergarten. We've adopted a new curriculum called Wonders that also embeds social emotional learning, science, social studies, so trying to meet the needs of the whole child, not just all academics. And the plan for the future is just to keep expanding that and eventually get to where we can service all of the students in our community to help prepare them for their K-12 experience.
So I think our current school system has a lot of really positive pieces in place. The biggest piece, I think, is the people that the system is filled with. I work with some amazing teachers who are committed and passionate, and they work tirelessly to help students succeed and fill the holes that they find and help them to grow and develop as they need to. I love going into the classrooms and seeing the students actively engaged in their learning, when you can walk in and see students talking to each other and sharing ideas and helping to support each other with their learning, and they're actively involved in their learning. I love going into classrooms and seeing that. And I know teachers have worked really hard this year to improve their instruction so that students are able to get more learning from the instruction that's being provided. But I also feel like we have a lot of improvement. For example, last year, 67% of our third graders didn't meet standard on the ESPA, and there are a lot of factors that go into that, but the bottom line is they weren't where they needed to be at the end of the year. So we still have a lot of places where we can grow and we can do a better job of supporting our students. I've also noticed that kind of across the system we have some issues with respect and responsibility and kindness. Schools need to be safe places where students can take risks and try and fail and not be afraid. And if compassion and kindness aren't there, then students aren't able to put their energy into learning where it needs to be. So my ideal school system is really one where the system is designed to support students academically, socially, and emotionally. It's a safe environment, but it's full of excitement and energy around learning. I think students would be busy doing, not sitting and listening, but actively involved in exploring and working together. I think it would be very productive and full of noise and energy, but productive noise and energy, not just noise and energy. I think it would have to be a place where tasks were intentionally designed to be developmentally appropriate for students at their age level and ability level, and be intentionally designed to build students' skill sets. I think students learn how to cooperate and work together and support each other, interact respectfully with everybody. The learning community would be designed to support students through each developmental stage and offer support needed at each stage. The developmental and emotional support needed for a 5-year-old is going to be vastly different than the support needed for a 9-year-old, which is going to be vastly different than the support needed for a 15-year-old, so that we're really being intentional about developmentally, where are these kids, what are they learning academically, socially, and emotionally, and how do we support all of those needs intentionally by design, not by accident.
So I'm going to speak a little bit as a parent, and so when I'm home with my kids, I see them creating, I see them imagining, I see them using technology in ways that I never learned how to use technology and being really good at it. And so I envision this place where kids can come and they can practice those skills. They have opportunities to create and innovate, and their ideas are valued and they're shared, and they have opportunities to share. And more than that, they have a fighting chance of competing with other kids in our state, with kids locally down in Tri-Cities, in Moses Lake, in Spokane, and then this idea of being able to compete globally, and not that they necessarily have to leave Othello, but that they have an opportunity for different chances in life to just become what they want to become. So I guess that's kind of my vision as a parent, but also as a leader, is let's provide these opportunities for kids to do just that.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think if we look at society, even 10, 15 years ago, it's completely different than it is now. I can take out my cell phone and I can preheat my oven while I'm sitting in my office, and when I get home it's already preheated. I can turn on the music from my cell phone. I can turn on my lights. These are all things that we couldn't have even imagined 15, 20 years ago. I couldn't even imagine these things 3 years ago. But now I'm able to do this. Our world is continually evolving. We need to be able to prepare our students not only to think of things that we've never thought imaginable, but be able to prepare them so that they can take the steps in order to conceive it, figure out how to make it happen, and then implement it. Not only individually, but you're right, globally. Like, they need to be able to talk to people in different countries. They need to be able to communicate and get ideas and resources back and forth, not just, well, I wonder what my neighbor has, or I wonder what I can do by myself, but really prepare them to collaborate and really communicate effectively and problem solve and really think things through before they go out into the world.
This year at McFarland Middle School, we are working on rebuilding. We're working on rebuilding relationships with student and staff, and we're working on rebuilding our systems with instruction. Our vision statement this year for McFarland Middle School is to provide an environment that is developmentally responsive, challenging, empowering, and equitable. In order for this to occur, though, we have to change and evolve our traditional ways with education. We want our students to not only have access to global society and be prepared, but we want them to be the leaders.
With respect to our classroom walkthroughs, at this point of the year, we have about 309 classroom walkthroughs with an intentional focus around depth of knowledge and the questions we're using with our students. student-to-student discourse, and use of the actual curriculum, among other things, in that classroom walkthrough tool. And so we're using that feedback, giving it back to our teachers on what the data says, and then just recently we've been able to provide some professional development around student-to-student discourse, and that's how we're using the feedback tool. With respect to math, we have been on a very aggressive and steep implementation curve around entry tasks, entry task quizzes, an intentional focus and implementation around teacher clarity with respect to learning intention, success criteria, learning progressions, and getting that training out to our teachers and what that could look like in the classroom and how it could positively affect instruction. Very intentional focus around anchor charts and consultation with Janice Heigl. So we're doing as much as we can to support the math here at the middle school because we need to grow, we need to change, and we're doing what we can to get away from this traditional approach and just do what we can to best support our teachers in this work.
So if I had to summarize what our administrators said, they really shared that there's a lot of outstanding things happening in our district. However, they also said there's some work to be done. The work that I'm asking us to engage in, STEM, STEAM, integrated units, design thinking, world language for all students. That's hard work. It's transformational work. And I really believe, and if we really think about it, we probably understand and know also that that work is really going to provide our students the skills that they need to succeed in society. One of the most compelling things that was shared by one of the administrators was that our world is ever evolving. And we have an obligation to ensure that our students are equipped with the essential skills so that they can compete with anyone here locally and across our globe. They deserve that. So as hard as this work may seem or appear or may be, I'm asking that we engage in this work together. I've not wavered in my commitment to the community. I love my community, I love my teachers, I love my staff, and I'm here to support us, regardless of how difficult the work may be. I'm just asking that we work together to make it happen for our students.